So a lot of you had the question of how do I actually install NetBeans and get it working. So we're going to take a look at that real quick. The first thing to do is to open a web browser. I'm going to use Google Chrome, but any web browser will do. I'm doing this inside a virtual machine, so it might be a little slow. But I wanted to be sure that you're seeing a fresh environment of getting it installed rather than reinstalling it on a computer that we know it works on. Okay, so once you get your browser open, you can either go to NetBeans directly or you can download the NetBeans bundled with the JDK. Let's go ahead and do it the way that you probably will, where you go to netbeans.org. So type NetBeans and the first result is for netbeans.org. We can go to the download option. When that comes up, you're presented with a few different options. For what we do in class, all you actually need is Java SE because that's what we do development with. Okay, EE is for enterprise. If you wanted to do C or C++ development, you can download just NetBeans for that. You can also download it for web development with HTML5 and PHP, or you can download the entire pack, which is everything bundled together. We're going to download the Java SE bundle because that's all we actually need. And it'll take just a minute to download. Alright, now that our download is finished, we can go ahead and click to launch. And it'll take just a second. It'll pop up this user authentication or user account control if you're on Windows 7 or 8 or Vista. Go ahead and just hit yes that you want to run it. And you'll get this error that says Java SE Development Kit was not found on your computer. You have to have a JDK, and it tells you that you can visit this link to download it, but we're going to go ahead and just do that ourselves. So I'm just going to again do a Google search for JDK. And the first result is all the Java SE downloads. You can see there's a Java SE Development Kit 8 or 7. You have to have at least 7 for NetBeans version 8 to work, but we're actually going to use 8 because that's the newest version. So I'm going to click on that link for Java SE Development Kit 8. Right here is the downloads for it, but before I can download it, see if I click it, it says you must accept the license agreement. I have to hit accept license agreement. Now I can click on the link to download it. Make sure you download the right version for whatever operating system you're on. If you're on Linux, there's a bunch of options available here. Mac, none of you are going to be using Solaris, but if you were, it's available there. And then there's Windows 32-bit or 64-bit. Most of you are probably going to be on the Windows 64-bit version. If you did need to confirm that while we're waiting for this to download, you can go to Computer and go to Properties. And you'll see in here system type is a 64-bit operating system. That way I know that this computer will indeed work with 64-bit software. So let's go ahead and do the waiting game one more time for this to finish. Alright, and our download has now been finished, so I can go ahead and click to open the JDK. I again get a user account control prompt because I'm trying to install software. So I'm going to say yes to that. And then it'll come up and it'll ask to install it. I'm going to hit next, next, and just let it go with all the default options. Okay, and now I'm just going to say which folder to specifically install it into. And it'll actually do the install process now. So now at this point it's actually copying the files over. Before it was just getting everything set up and extracting the files. And while that's installing, we can go ahead and open our downloads folder. So if you open Explorer and then go to your downloads folder, it should be under your favorites. You can see the stuff that you currently have installed. Or I'm sorry, that you currently have downloaded. Alright, and this is almost finished. Alright, so it's finished successfully installed, so we go ahead and hit close. And now, if I run my NetBeans installer again, this time it should detect that I have a JDK installed. And it should allow it to actually run. So I'm going to double click it, and I'm going to wait just a moment for UAC to pop up. And when that comes up, I'm going to hit yes. It will begin configuring. and this time it let me proceed. So I'm just going to accept the agreement. I accept to install JUnit. JUnit is a test framework that we have not talked about yet. And then I'm just going to hit next and install. And I can go ahead and close these other windows now that it's installing. And it'll take just a few minutes to install, so we'll go ahead and speed that up. Alright, now our installation is done. There is an option here to contribute to NetBeans by providing them anonymous information about how you use the program. It's up to you whether you want to do that or not. I usually do leave it checked. And that's it. So now I have a NetBeans icon on my desktop. If I double click the program, it'll start up. And then exactly like we're used to from previous projects that we've done, once it opens, we can hit the button to create a new project. It'll ask us what you want to do, and you can choose a Java application and give it a name like Test App. It takes a minute just to get set up because it's the first run. And then once we get that going, we have our default package. We can add a new class. Let's call it Hello World. Then we can add a public static void main. And we can do a system.out.println that says Hello World. Then all you gotta do is hit the run button, and it will go to compile your project. Oh, before we can do that, we need to save it. Now when we run it, it'll find our main class. We can hit OK, and we'll see down at the bottom, our output window will pop up. In just a moment. Again, I'm running it in a virtual machine, so it's a bit slower than your computer should be. And there we get our Hello World. So now we have installed NetBeans with a JDK, and it's successfully working. We were able to compile and run a basic program. So hopefully that gets you up and running. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. While you're down there, give this video a like, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for more Intro to Computer Science videos. See you next time.